Let's break some news in Delaware County. Are y'all aware of what's going on in Delaware County? As far as with taxes and shit of that nature, that these some bitches going up once again 19% on taxes in Delaware County, along with PECO raising their rates in Delaware County, along with the water authorities raising their rates in Delaware County. Is that love for you or hate? We all know the economy, as they would say, is struggling, right? Under Donald Trump's administration, but yet they raising taxes in Delaware County all around the board, and y'all not paying attention, paying for these illegal migrants mess that they got their self into. And that's all it's about. Raising taxes once again on the American people to pay for their fuck shit that they did with them illegal migrants. Here it is, a 19% tax hike in Delaware County, right? But all these blue states are raising taxes. Your water bill, your fucking PECO bill, electric bill, all in Delaware County under these niggas. And this is what y'all voted for when y'all vote these Democrats in. That steals money underneath y'all nose. So they so quick to raise taxes on everything. But yet when Donald Trump asks for the data on who's all on SNAP, they turn into Scooby-Doo and once again put all the pressure on the American people. These Democrats are not here for the people at all. At all. Now let's get into this story on Delaware County doing a 19% tax hike in 2026. Let's go.
Up and sounding off. Well, people in Delaware County are fired up and sounding off tonight over plans to raise county taxes yet again. This time by 19%. And we know people in Delco are not afraid to speak their minds, Chris, especially when it comes to things that hit them in the wallet.
Yeah. This is what y'all voted for.
That's right, Jason. Yeah, Democrats. A lot of people out here tonight not happy about what they heard tonight. A unveiling of a new budget tonight, and that includes a 19% increase in county real estate taxes. That would be the third year in a row.
Third year in a row, back to back. Back to back, these greedy motherfuckers paying for these illegal migrants.
One by one, Delco residents lining up to raise their voice on a plan to raise county taxes by 19% in 2026.
Crazy.
The council has stated
that's fucking crazy.
You think that we have a revenue problem when I think you have a spending problem.
Unveiling next year's budget, county officials are trying to sell another tax hike they blame on years of a structural budget deficit, rising costs, and the end of COVID-era grants. The latest 19% increase would mean an extra $188 for the average Delco home, appraised at $255,000. Council members say it's a tough but needed pill to swallow.
What the fuck you mean needed pill to swallow? You fucking devil bitch. Fuck out of here. Fucking devils, man. These fucking blue red states, man. Straight up.
This budget
a greedy motherfucking budget. That's what it is. You fucking moot lover.
If the Delco tax increase sounds familiar, it is.
Look,
a sizable tax increase here in exactly 1 year ago. We told you about a 23% tax increase that was approved in 2025 and a 5% hike in 24.
Are y'all paying attention?
That's a 47% tax increase, a number that you guys really shouldn't be proud of.
County officials say if there's any silver lining, the budget deficit will be eliminated, and the need for future increases may be minimal.
With this budget,
putting this pressure on the American people. And these the motherfuckers y'all vote for in Delaware County, y'all better wake the fuck up. These motherfuckers don't love y'all. They love you wild. They want you to pay for their mistakes when they let all these illegal migrants.
Now, a public budget hearing is scheduled for next week, but it is expected to get full approval by council
3 years
by the end of the
year. Taxes.
Jason Chiva. All right, Chris O'Connell, thank you very
much. Like I said, who all need help with LAHEAP, they open up their applications and shit so you can sign up for LAHEAP. Just the government shutdown, once again, a Democrat shutdown. So when y'all say a shutdown, we all know the Democrats had something to do with the shutdown, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, they refusing to give up data on everybody that's on SNAP benefits, meaning them illegal migrants. Show the data on who's all on SNAP benefits. And then here it goes. They raising your PICO bill. We just seen how they gonna raise your taxes. Now they gonna raise your PICO bill, but you can sign up for LIHEAP to get help. Come on, man.
The application season for a home heating program for low-income Pennsylvanians officially opens today. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, better known as LIHEAP, was delayed because of the government shutdown. The federally funded program helps eligible households pay their heating bills by sending payments directly to utility companies or fuel providers. Its application season is open until April 10th. To find out how you can apply, visit our website, WTAJ.com.
These people sit around and play in your face, knowing the people were struggling. But here it is again. They raising people PICO bills, water bills, taxes. It's sad, man. It's sad. And this is what y'all vote for when y'all vote for these Democrats, man. They all about money and greed. They don't give a damn about y'all.
Well, winter is just around the corner, and for many families in the Philadelphia area, that means higher electric bills, but there is some relief.
PECO will perform in-home energy assessments to help customers improve their efficiency and to lower costs. CBS News Philadelphia's Madeline Wright takes us to West Philadelphia, where one homeowner is hoping to stay warm this winter without breaking the bank.
The things that draw a lot of kilowatt hours are things that run a lot.
PECO Energy Advisor Rich Kinback is on a mission to help homeowners fight energy loss before the winter chill sets in.
So these types of homes, they're very skinny and tall, and there's a lot of air that comes in from the outside. How you doing, Rich with PECO Home Energy Assessment? How are you? Nice to meet you.
CBS News Philadelphia tagged along as he visited Chase Hamilton's home in West Philly.
In December, I think the bill had climbed to about $800.
Wow.
And then in January and February, it was over $1,000.
Wow.
And so it was pretty shocking to see that number for the first time. It felt like maybe something wasn't quite right.
Wow.
That's why Hamilton scheduled a PECO Energy Assessment. They start at $49, but are free for low-income customers.
We try to be strategic with the cooling.
Kinback checks everything: insulation, appliances, windows, even lighting. He says small changes can make a big difference.
DIMS, we call them, direct install measures. Not only is water very expensive, but the energy you're using to heat the water with that old inefficient water heater, something as simple as changing out shower heads and aerators to use less water can make a noticeable difference off the monthly bill.
Hamilton, who's raising his 9-month-old son, says every bit of savings counts, and he's grateful for the walkthrough.
It seems like there are some pretty simple fixes or services we can get out here to make things more efficient.
For Hamilton, the visit offered more than just energy tips. It gives him peace of mind heading into winter. In West Philly, Madeline Wright, CBS News, Philadelphia.
These people are robbing people, man, without a gun. That's why I said we got, you know what I mean? If you want to rob a motherfucker, rob them illegal migrants without their green card. Charge them motherfuckers $500, ladies and gentlemen, if they ain't got it. Suit up in army fatigue uniform. Youngsters, you hear me? Suit up in army fatigue uniform with a mask. You and a couple homies and shit. Run up on them illegal migrants. See if they got their green cards and charge them motherfuckers $500 to $1,000 if they don't. Fuck them. You understand me? We at war right now, goddamn. It's a revolution. It's going to be bloodshed knowing this shit, y'all. But here again, here in Chester County, sewer bills skyrocket. Let's go.
Are upset about skyrocketing sewer bills. CBS Philadelphia's Joe Holden is in West Bradford Township with that story.
From $75 a month to $344 a month.
Wow.
Brett and Megan Hamilton are frustrated over what they say is a skyrocketing increase on their sewer bill.
They're charging us for a service that they're not doing.
Wow.
The West Bradford Township couple said in the summer of 2024 an approved rate hike for community utilities of Pennsylvania by the Pennsylvania Utility Commission changed their monthly sewer billing from a $74 flat rate to a metered rate, which is based off all water flowing into the home. They call foul, saying not all that water is going down the drain.
They're not cleaning all the water. If you turn a hose on and leave it in the front yard for 20 minutes to water the trees, the lawn, whatever it might be, that water never reaches the wastewater system.
Hamilton showed us his bills with an explosion of increases month over month. He filed a complaint with the Pennsylvania Utility Commission, but it was dismissed on grounds there wasn't anything unreasonable with the provisions of the rate hike. He disagrees.
We're not taking 15 more showers every month. We're not flushing the toilet over and over and over again. How all of a sudden in the summer when we're using more water outside, are we being billed for water that's never being cleaned?
Monday afternoon, people showed up to a scheduled meeting to confront community utilities over their higher bills.
They've gone up about 600%.
You're hoping for answers?
In Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can you charge someone for a service you're not providing them on that amount of water?
In an interview, a spokesperson for community utilities said they welcomed the feedback and in their rate hike,
they're gonna do
the
what they're
consumer
gonna do
advocate
anyway,
recommended
y'all.
volume-based rates
They don't
as
give a damn
opposed to
about
the
the
old
American
flat
people.
rate system.
But we have heard our customers tell us that they would be interested in an irrigation meter. And so that's not something that we're against, that we can look into in the future. It would require a tariff for those meters, but we're open to that.
For the Hamiltons, they say they're frustrated.
Nobody's listening on a local level.
No, they don't.
Listening on a state level.
The Hamiltons say they are open to irrigation or deduction meters to show water that's actually being used outside to water plants or wash cars, and water that's not going down the sewer system. In West Bradford Township, Joe Holden, CBS News.
Residents in and around Harrisburg will likely have their water bills increased. Capital Region Water has approved a new budget and raised rates for next year. On average, all customers will be seeing an increase of just over $6 a month for their water bill. Capital Region Water says the rate increases are to help with infrastructure improvements to improve water quality.
Like I said, in all these blue states, y'all, they going up on everything. Taxes, water, electric. And the American people, this is what y'all voted for in Delaware County, man, in Pennsylvania. Are y'all serious for this shit? These Democratic ran devils.
If your home is serviced by Pennsylvania American Water, you probably received a letter this week notifying customers of a big spike in prices. Customers should expect to shell out a lot more this upcoming year. Newswatch 16's Melissa Steininger is in the studio now to explain just how much more will be coming out of our wallets. This is not what people want to hear going into the holiday season.
Definitely not. We're talking a major price hike here, Lisa. PA American Water says residential homes could actually see a staggering 25% increase in their water bill this upcoming year.
Shit,
and while most residents we spoke with aren't exactly happy about this huge hike, many say it's just a trend for right about everything right now.
Greedy devils. That's what it's a trend for, a bunch of greedy
Those
devils.
dripping faucets will soon be more than just a nuisance in your home. It'll actually be costing you a lot more. Customers of Pennsylvania American Water may soon be paying 25% more for their water bill in the coming year. For some in Scranton, it's out of sight, out of mind.
I usually just do the auto pay, so I really don't see it that much.
Use it, you pay for it. That's it, that's it.
While others say that increase hits hard.
No resistance.
I just went full-time in my job, and it's making no difference. Everything's going straight to bills.
The company's website says the reason behind the price hike is due to replacing aging infrastructure, enhancing water quality and services, as well as complying with environmental regulations.
Who's going to go without water, without electric, without gas?
Out there, man.
It's the nature of the beast.
To help offset the increase.
Look here, Pennsylvanians. Y'all paying for these illegal migrant shit that they had going on with them illegal migrants, okay? They quick to raise the taxes on the peoples, on everything in life. But when it comes down to common sense, they have none. When the Trump administration asking these blue states for data on illegal migrants that's on SNAP benefits, they can't even give the data up on that. But they forcing shit on the American people. That's to pay for their fuck shit. It's crazy. Y'all better wake up and stop electing these devils in Pennsylvania. They don't give a damn about you. That's all they are, greedy ass devils.
The company is proposing to expand its income-based monthly bill discount program, opening up the service to about 55,000 new customers. And while some say the extra help would be great for those who need it, some seniors like Jack McMullen of Scranton are figuring out another way around their water bill.
It doesn't feel bad because you know why? I'm moving out of Scranton. McMullen says PA American is just another company on the long list of those adding to inflation.
You know, there's no end in sight unless they do something. You
No
know,
end in sight.
They got to make changes somewhere because it's just, you know, this shouldn't
ridiculous.
As customers are seeing spikes in pretty much everything, especially as winter makes its way in.
It's not really impacting me that much, to tell you the truth. I mean, it could be worse. I mean, when I get my gas bill, that's when I really feel the pinch, usually, in the wintertime.
Now, the only ones that would be seeing these impacts, commercial businesses would also be seeing a major spike of about 32%. Now, it's not a done deal just yet, as the PA Public Utility Commission would have to approve these increases. And that could take up to 9 months. But if approved, those increases would hit your bills in August of 2024. Lisa?
You know us, we gonna get some more facts and shit for the peoples. Let's see if y'all can see that. Yes, Delaware County PICO bills are increasing due to a 10% electric and 12.5% natural gas rate increase approved by the state, which went into effect on January 1st, 2025. So they additionally a new 6% increase in the electric supply rate is taking effect in December 2025. That's next month, with further rates adjustments possible. Wow. What's the reason for the increase? Infrastructure? No. That this November 24-25, PA electric prices rising December the 1st. See how much your PICO bill might increase. Peoples. That's PICO, right? We did that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is your water. Yes, Delaware County water bills are increasing due to the rate hike requests from water providers like Aqua. And they try and sell out. Oh, man, look at this shit, y'all. Wow. Now, we did PICO water. They claiming infrastructure on everything. That's the upgrade. That's the reason they keep saying infrastructure. And we know these roads and sidewalks in Chester fucked up like a motherfucker. You heard? Homeowners in Delaware County could be paying more after a 23% increase was put in place last year. And y'all see this was 5 hours ago, so y'all know I ain't making this shit up. Hold on. That's even better for y'all. Homeowners in Delaware County could soon be paying more after a 23% increase was put in place last year. You understand me, peoples? Is that love for you or hate? God damn it, they raising everything on y'all. God damn it. On us. But y'all vote for these people. These people was greedy than the motherfucker, but funded all these illegal migrants. The only thing they gave y'all was an experiment. A fucking experiment to make you fucking dumb, to try to dumb you down. But they're all so happy in Pennsylvania about becoming the 28th state to sign a Crown Act into law. While all these bills going up, these some bitches throw y'all some crumbs on the plate by signing in a fucking Crown Act law into effect. What the fuck that got to do with people bills? God damn it. Might give a damn about this. And this is what they care about, y'all. Let's play it.
Well, new at noon, discriminating against someone based on their natural hair is now banned in Pennsylvania. Governor Josh Shapiro just signed the bill into law this morning. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Dan Snyder is live at a salon in West Philadelphia with a look at what's included in this new law. Good afternoon, Dan.
Hey, good afternoon, Jim. Yeah, Pennsylvania now becomes the 28th state in the nation to ban discrimination in workplaces, in schools, for someone who is wearing their natural hair. Now, Governor Josh Shapiro signed that bill into law here at Island Design Natural Hair Salon on 52nd Street in West Philadelphia. But this has been a fight years in the making for many folks in this community. Now, the owner of this salon, Lorraine Ruley, she tells me she sees people coming in all the time saying they need to cut off their locks or their braids because they have a job interview or they feel like their employer may deem them as not, quote, professional. House Speaker Joanna McClinton, who has worked on this legislation for 6 years, even said when she was in law school, she changed her hair over those same concerns. And State Rep Latasha Mays, a West Philly native who now represents parts of Pittsburgh, was the lead sponsor on this act. She says this fight will help improve people's lives all across Pennsylvania.
That's not going to improve nobody's life. A crown hair bill when fucking bills are going up. How is this going to improve Pennsylvania's lives? Look at this, man. They give these devils a little crumbs on the plate, and these devils, look. Black devils, white devils, clowns, bozos, mooks. Fuck out of here, man.
Has taken confidence from our children, but that ends today. Hair discrimination has taken dignity from workers, but that ends today.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
access to economic opportunities, hopes, and dreams.
Fuck out of here.
But that begins to end today.
Now, Governor Shapiro said in 2022 there were more than 900 reports of racial discrimination based on hair to the Pennsylvania Human Resources Commission.
Discrimination on how y'all hiring these bills, raising these bills on these people. That's discrimination.
With this law, lawmakers say now people can rock their natural hair and be protected under Pennsylvania law. Live in West Philadelphia, Dan Snyder, we'll send it back to you.
This who y'all was getting y'all information from the time the coronavirus is at its all-time high. This who in Pennsylvania, this who y'all was getting y'all information from the CDC, which was this moot I was telling y'all about yesterday. Y'all remember that moot? Y'all remember this moot right here? Was giving y'all fucking information. Pennsylvania Department of Health. This moot was all in line with that shit. Y'all remember? And then Joe Biden moved this moot to the White House with him. Look. Remember y'all? Y'all was getting information from this mook about the vax, the jab. This who was leading y'all to your own goddamn demise around that time. A moot, a known moot in Pennsylvania. Picked by Biden, right? Look, that's when he moved that moot to the White House with him. Remember I told y'all that yesterday? You go to facts. God damn it. This who y'all was getting y'all information from when y'all was lining up taking an experiment from a fucking known moot. A known moot. Look. Known moots. Look. Known moots. Known moots. Facts, god damn it. Facts. Hold on. Y'all was getting y'all information from a known moot in Pennsylvania. A known moot. Telling y'all to line up and take an experiment. But then the question was asked, what was in that motherfucking experiment? We know what was in it. We most definitely know what was in that shit. Facts. Devils. Fucking devils, man. Sold Pennsylvania out. That strong face motherfucker. Hold on. And back to the lab. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Pennsylvania has a rich history of black physicians supported by professional organizations like Medical Society of Eastern Pennsylvania and the Black Doctors COVID-19. Look. These groups work to support the community. Black Doctors Code. That's when they was lining them niggas up. Take that experiment. Yeah. That's when he was lining them niggas up to take that experiment. Didn't know the fucking outcome of that shit. They was reading from a script when they was getting crumbs off the plate. Let's see who the players was. Let's see who the players was. I told y'all this strong jaw motherfucker. Is it a man or a woman? You understand me? What is it? God damn it. What the fuck is it? Look. When I say strong jaw motherfucker, where that strong jaw motherfucker at? You know what I mean? Is it a man or what, y'all? The fuck is it? Motherfuckers was selling niggas out like a motherfucker. Getting crumbs on the plate to sell niggas out. Strong jaw motherfucker. Look. Look. What is it? What the fuck is it? Strong jaw motherfucker. Sold niggas out. That's what the fuck you did for some crumbs on the plate. Strong jaw motherfucker.
I'm watching the hearings on my, computer screen at home. I'm yelling at the screen. The COVID shots have negative efficacy after 6 months. Tell me how a shot with negative efficacy is saving lives and it has the worst side effect profile of any vaccine in human history. So how exactly is a vaccine with the worst side effects and negative efficacy saving lives? That's a preposterous claim. What ended the COVID pandemic was the Omicron variant that was more transmissible but less lethal.
We weren't using remdesivir because we were paid to use remdesivir. And remdesivir, I have to say, I never thought was, a game changer, but it's not that.
By the way, the hospitals were paid handsomely for using remdesivir.
Okay, well, I never saw that.
And coding somebody as a COVID patient as well. But
I never saw that. But in terms of, whether or not the vaccine saved lives, it's not just that one study. I mean, there's a Stanford Ionidis study from that was published in JAMA recently that showed that the COVID vaccines probably averted 2.5 million deaths.
So this is CDC data. So in 2019, total deaths in the U.S. were 2.85 million. Okay, then we had the pandemic year, 2020, 3.38 million, a little under 3.4 million. So that's an increase of a little more than 500,000 people died in the first year of COVID. The following year, 3.46 million people, more people in the second year of the pandemic, 2021, when the vaccines were rolling out. And I think we were close to 70% take up of vaccines by fall of 2021, I believe.
Some of the estimates are that by the second quarter, over 60% of Americans had some form of
immunity. Then in 2022, we started backing down. Now, I think Mr. Siri kind of argues in your piece that, if the vaccines really worked, you'd think even by 2021, because those things are being rolled out pretty quick, you'd probably see those death counts come down, but they didn't. But here's the point I'm trying to make with this Commonwealth Fund study. They estimated 3.2 million people's lives were saved in 2021 and 2022. So
Commonwealth, Pennsylvania.
If you add that to the actual death count, what Commonwealth Fund is assuming is that in 2021, had it not been for the vaccines, more than 5 million people would have lost their lives in America. In 2022, 4.88 million people would have lost their lives. I mean, Dr. Scott, is that even close to credible to think that we'd go from 2.85 million lives lost in 2019, have a pandemic, no vaccines? Unfortunately, the NIH was sabotaging treatment using effective generic drugs, to telling people, don't treat it all, go home, be afraid, hope you don't have to go in the hospital where they'll plug remdesivir in your veins and hook you up to a ventilator and you probably never come off. Okay, so we had no treatment. Had 3.38 million people die that year. Are we really supposed to believe the next year we were going to leap up to 5 million lives lost in America? And then the following year, close to 5 again? Because that's what you'd have to be. In order to save 1.6 million lives in 2021 and 2022, you'd have to be assuming the death rate was going to go from 2.85 million in 2019, 3.4 million in 2019, and then leap up to 5 million in 2021 and 22. Is that at all plausible? Do you believe that? Do you believe that we were literally, had it not been for the vaccine, 5 million Americans would have lost their lives in 2021 and 2022?
Yeah, I believe that's credible to me. I mean, were you on the front lines? Because it was awful. I honestly cannot express how terrible it was.
It was terrible.
And there was a dramatic.
It was terrible.
Decline.
It was terrible in 2020. And the total death toll was 3.4 million
after the vaccines were rolled out.
Let's move on. Let's move on to some other.
Parse over these modeling studies, but let's talk about hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. I mean, parse over these modeling studies, but let's talk about hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. I mean, there were a number of studies that looked into that. Some of which I was involved in.
This is about research. And by the way, I'm happy to invite you back when I'll have Dr. McCulloch and I have Dr. Good. We'll do that. Okay, we will absolutely have you come back.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about hospital protocols. We'll talk about early treatment. I would love to do that because I've never been able to get people to actually debate or discuss this with that the doctors did have the courage and compassion to treat COVID, okay? And I appreciate you did as well. So anyway, so you think it's credible. I mean, the records show that Dr. Scott thinks, yeah, we had 5 million people die in 2021 and 2022. Mr. Siri, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I could add to that just a little bit, which is that, and this is part of my submission as well, that the data reflects that in 2020, when there was no vaccine, the vaccine was first rolled out at the end of December 2020, about 18% of folks, 17% of Americans were infected. And presumably, by the way, the weakest, most frail among us passed away in 2020. And we get to 2021, where again the data reflects, and this is my submission, around the same percentage of Americans were again infected. Okay, so no vaccine, like you pointed out, that was the increase. Then there was a vaccine in 2021. The vaccination rate went through sky high by the second quarter of 2021. When Delta's coming, the immunity rate, according to the data, is over 60%. But yet, all-cause mortality increases. And I'll point out one last thing about this. Remdesivir, and this is a great example of the corruption.
You know what nurses call that? Run, death is near.
Well, I'll give you an example of the corruption of science with Remdesivir. The way you should do a study is you come up with a study design, and then you implement it, because this way you avoid introducing bias. If you start the study and then you're like, ooh, you don't like what you're finding, and you change the study design, that introduces bias. And that is exactly what happened during the remdesivir clinical trial. The endpoints in the middle of the trial were changed by Gilead as it was going on. In fact, we wrote to Dr. Fauci specifically about that. That is precisely what you should never do. It introduces bias so they can get the results.
By the way, do you remember how many people had some kind of financial conflict of interest, the people that approved that? Gilead?
Yes.
Like 9 out of 16 or something like that?
A significant number. And obviously, there's lots of folks who've treated COVID during the pandemic, and there's lots of, you had Dr. Jordan here, for example, and he's had a clinic. I think he has dozens and dozens of clinics around the country, and he lost, as he would explain, the protocols he implemented, lost very few people to COVID. I know other doctors in that similar situation using budesonide and so forth.
Dr. Rogers, you have something? And Dr. Scott, I think you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I want to add to this debate. So I watched every single meeting of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices and the Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee in 2021, 2022, and 2023, when all these COVID shots were being authorized for use in this country. And after a while, the CDC's own research showed that the protection from the vaccine, if any, was between months 2 and 6. And by 6 months, it showed negative efficacy. So I'm watching the hearings on my, computer screen at home. I'm yelling at the screen. The COVID shots have negative efficacy after 6 months. Tell me how a shot with negative efficacy is saving lives and it has the worst side effect profile of any vaccine in human history. So how exactly is a vaccine with the worst side effects and negative efficacy saving lives? That's a preposterous claim. What ended the COVID pandemic was the Omicron variant that was more transmissible but less lethal. The vaccine, how many people it helped? I think it's an open debate. It could be a net negative.
Well, maybe we can look at the clinical trial data in which 21 people died in the vaccinated group and 17 died in the placebo group.
I do want to, again, I believe the first study that came out of showing negative efficacy came out of Denmark. But Dr. Scott, you said you wanted to say something, then I'll turn it over to Senator Blumenthal.
Well, I just want to say, in 2020, 2021, my colleagues and I were doing absolutely everything we could to save lives. Okay?
Right.
We weren't using remdesivir because we were paid to use remdesivir. And remdesivir, I have to say, I never thought was, a game changer, but it also, it's not that.
By the way, the hospitals were paid handsomely for using remdesivir.
Okay, well, I never saw that.
And coding somebody as a COVID patient as well. But
I never saw that. But in terms of, whether or not the vaccine saved lives, it's not just that one study. I mean, there's there's a Stanford Ioannidis study from that was published in JAMA recently that showed that the COVID vaccines probably averted 2.5 million deaths. So you're cherry picking by saying that I'm hanging my hat on that one Commonwealth study. I'm not, because I've also posted about these other studies as well. How many lives did the COVID vaccine save? I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I did see with my own eyes the dramatic decline in deaths between December of 2020 and mid 2021.
Variants did change, and Omicron was less lethal. But
Omicron,
Delta was a real problem.
Omicron didn't hit until 2022.
I understand. Delta was a real problem.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson and Ranking Member Blumenthal. Thank you for having me. I'm going to dovetail a little bit off what Dr. McCullough said, and one of the things that, as a clinician who also had about 200 people working for him and actually seeing about 170,000 patients a year. When COVID came along, I had to really figure out how to not only help my staff and make sure they're safe, but also help the patients that my organization was responsible for. And that really made me dive into understanding the pathology. And what I came away with was understanding that the spike protein, the S1 subunit specifically, is not a benign protein. It triggers inflammation, it disrupts endothelial barriers, it induces fibrin-resistant to breakdown, and it promotes a lot of amyloid aggregates, which is what I research. These effects impair oxygen delivery, damage blood vessels, contribute to clotting pathologies that manifest with a lot of the symptoms that we're seeing in the long COVID and vaccine injured, which to this day is a huge amount of people. We're talking upwards of 10 to 15 million people in America that are being affected by the consequences of COVID in the long form or vaccine injury. And the typical symptoms are things like heart racing, brain fog, shortness of breath, and post-exertional malaise. In my clinic, I actually use immunofluorescent microscopy to be able to actually see what's going on in the blood and look for these amyloid aggregates. Some as young as teenagers that are unable to stand. Others are previously active adults suffering small strokes without typical identifiable causes. These are not abstract theories. They're the lived realities of my patients in Alabama and beyond. The mRNA injection, heralded as a solution, introduced a novel mechanism, lipid nanoparticles delivering modified mRNA that instructs the cells to produce a stabilized spike protein. Unlike traditional vaccines, this approach resulted in uncontrolled production of the spike protein for an unknown duration and distributes it widely across organs, including the heart, brain, and vasculature, and ovaries and testes. The actual EMA, their assessment of Comirnaty, which is Pfizer's vaccine, noted biodistribution beyond the injection site, contradicting claims that the vaccine stays in the arm. And a recent groundbreaking study using single-cell precision nanocarrier identification revealed LNP accumulation in the heart tissue of mice, with adverse proteomic changes in immune and vascular proteins, raising concerns about the cardiac complications that dovetail with what we were seeing when we were looking at the COVID-19 vaccine myocarditis. I will tell my first encounter with a vaccine injury came in winter of 2021. 69-year-old man from Alabama presented with unexplained shortness of breath. He was a patient of mine. He really had no other reason that he had this shortness of breath. And after the second Pfizer dose, he actually had significant shortness of breath. I couldn't figure it out in a sense because it would typically be that he had a pulmonary embolism, but empirical anticoagulation and antiplatelet therapy brought rapid improvement. This case prompted deeper investigation that the spike protein's ability to induce fibrin that's resistant to breakdown, activate platelets irreversibly, and damage the inside of our vessels that run to every part of our body and every organ, explained his symptoms and those of thousands more since. I have treated approximately 4,000 patients suffering from long COVID and vaccine injury, or both. Many were young and previously healthy. For those with vaccine injury, trust in public institutions has been shattered. Many were coerced under the August 2021 federal mandates, despite legitimate hesitations due to prior infection or personal health risks. They knew their body better than the agencies. Now disabled, they are dismissed or ignored by the systems that mandated their compliance. The myocarditis signal was also a big thing. This spring of 2021, a clear safety signal emerged. Myocarditis in young males linked to mRNA vaccines. The Department of Defense confirmed cases of rare heart inflammation, and peer-reviewed studies later detected circulating spike protein in post-vaccine myocarditis cases. Autopsy findings have confirmed fatal vaccine-induced myocarditis. Yet federal authorities accelerated licensing and mandates, sidelining concerns. The CDC's hesitation to issue a health alert on myocarditis, and the FDA's former CBER director promoting vaccines on social media crossed a line from oversight to advocacy. This was not regulation, it was endorsement. Informed consent is the foundation of a patient-physician relationship. Absent the regulators providing that information, that relationship is irreparably harmed, and the practice of medicine will continue to suffer. In closing, I urge you to stop blindly following the science. Science does not lead anywhere. It is an observer, measurer, and descriptor. It must inform leadership, not replace it. When leaders hide behind the science to justify policy, they abdicate responsibility. We need leadership that humbly engages with data, listens to patients, and actually acts with courage. Thank you. I welcome your questions.
On YouTube, if y'all want to see this video here. All right. It's right there. 6 months ago. God damn it. We'll check it out. Check that video out right here. 74% death caused by mRNA COVID vaccine. Okay? The shit you was putting in your system, goddammit. Listening to these devils. Check the videos out. I'm putting it up there for y'all. It wasn't long COVID, it was the vaccine. They lied. Billions was made. They made billions of dollars off that shit, y'all. Facts. Vaccines are one of the greatest crimes in history. We know that. We know the past history of that shit. Especially with the Tuskegee experiment. We know all that shit. One vaccine shot shattered our family forever. Y'all can check these videos out. I'm just scrolling. They made billions of dollars. Sold motherfuckers out. The root of all evil is that money. Peace. Heathens.